Hey everyone. Listen, FNAF 2 is up there as one of my all-time favorite FNAF games. It still had that early FNAF atmosphere that was kinda lost past FNAF 4, and while it could be a bit repetitive and annoying at times, I found the gameplay to be fun and challenging. But if I'm being honest, the theories the fans came up with for this game were just kind of boring. And I know that seems like a weird criticism, but hear me out. Last game, people talked about time-traveling ghosts and robots built by Nazis. Though that's not to say that the theories weren't good, there are still some dumb fun ones to look back on. And since this game was a sequel to an insanely popular one, this one had a lot more theories than the last. So, let's take a look at the wacky world of the theories of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, starting with the more well-known ones and making our way to the more obscure. To start, let's look at our updated list of killer suspects. Last time, we had only two people to blame, Mike Schmidt and the phone guy. While both of these were still viable at this point in the series, this game brought a few more suspects into the mix. Mainly, there was the two new security guards, Jeremy Fitzgerald and Fritz Smith. The big evidence for them being the killer was that most people seemed to agree that the murderer was an employee of the company. An additional point of evidence for Fritz was that he was fired on his first day of employment for tampering with animatronics, which is what it looked like the purple guy was doing in one of the minigames. Another person of interest that people theorized about, just not nearly as much, was the mysterious CEO of the company. Although he was first mentioned in the first game, I didn't see anybody suspecting him until the second. One of the big points of evidence towards him being the killer was simply the fact that the company he ran seemed to be obsessed with covering up the murders. On one hand, this seems like it would be a reach, but on the other, they kinda ended up being right. I mean, William Afton was formerly an owner of Fazbear Entertainment. Okay, so since I did Game Theory's theory last time, I feel like I have to bring up his theory for FNAF 2, as that's what a lot of fans agreed with at the time. To make a long video short, basically his conclusion was this. The killer, aka Purple Guy, was the phone guy. He believes that the item in the Purple Guy's hand during the Save Them minigame was a phone, and comments made by Phone Guy about Foxy and the puppet also related to details within the minigames. There were some other smaller stuff he theorized on that, in my opinion, weren't really theories, just facts that the game outright told you. Like the fact that the killer used the disguise to lure kids and the puppet is the one to bring the other animatronics to life. Overall, pretty simple theory that, while not as out there as the FNAF 1 one, makes way more sense. Alright, I promise that this is the last updated theory. When FNAF 2 came out, there was really only two more suspects added to the bite list, Mangle and Toy Chica. Let's get the less popular of the two out of the way. The reason people thought Toy Chica might be the culprit was simply because she loses her beak when she comes off the stage, and you can see her creepy teeth underneath. Not really any evidence besides that, however our other new character has a lot more going for him. Mangle is, to this day, regarded by most fans, including me, to be the 87 biter. The main point is that she attacks from an angle that looks like it's going into your head. He also is one of the few animatronics to have noticeably sharp teeth. So this theory existed before the game even came out. Some fans would say that in the FNAF 2 trailer, you could hear Foxy shouting the word freedom as he jump scared you. So, what could that mean? Well, some suggested that the animatronics were actually trying to possess you by escaping their animatronic bodies, thus yelling freedom when they attack. I actually remember this theory fondly, as this was one of the very first FNAF theories I've ever heard. As for the theory itself, it was just a big case of mishearing, but it's a cool theory nonetheless. This theory suggests that Mangle has detected that your character is part of a criminal database and is attempting to call the police over a radio. This comes from the fact that you can hear radio scatter whenever Mangle is around, and if you listen closely, you can even hear police codes in it. I'm pretty sure that this theory is correct and that's actually what's happening, but if not, just correct me in the comments. This was a popular one for a minute. This just all comes from the fact that the purple guy in the Foxy Go 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 minigame was a slightly shade of purple as the killer from the Take Cake and Save Them minigames. This theory was also known as the pink guy purple guy theory. While a cool theory in concept, besides that one little detail, there's literally nothing else within these two games that support it. So, the reason people were saying this was because when the puppet was coming after you, it seemed to be floating around without any strings attached. What this theory was supposed to mean towards the broader story, I couldn't tell you. Alright, so now that we got the popular ones out of the way, let's go on to the more obscure and dumber theories, aka my favorites. This theory states that because the endoskeleton only appears after the puppet has left the box, then it must have some connection to it. Some said that the puppet might be sending out the endo to kill you just in case it fails in doing so. Not a very good explanation, but it does seem like there should be some connection between the two, right? This theory comes from the fact that people claim that you can see Toy Chica's beak inside Mangle. This theory is very similar to the phone guy inside Chica theory from the first game, just a case of people seeing robotic parts and mistaking them for other things. I mean, could you think of a reason as to why Mangle would steal that? Hey, remember those weird cutscenes that played at the beginning of each night and we never actually got a concrete answer as to what that was all about? Well, some people used to theorize that phone guy was stuffed inside Freddy and this is him slowly dying inside him over the course of a week, while him still being haunted by the animatronics. I actually really like this theory because it makes an already creepy and unsettling cutscene even more creepy and unsettling. Alright, so this was another theory that came from mishearing something in the trailer. Some people said that if you took the singing from the beginning of the trailer and reversed it, you would hear "Mike, kill all, this is enough." This is possibly one of my favorite dumb theories because, well, this is a song that's over 300 years old, so that means every time somebody sang it over the past 3 centuries, they were secretly hinting that Mike Schmidt was the killer. So this theory comes from the Paper Plate Pals. Have you ever really thought about them? Let's see, you have Freddy, Bonnie, and this guy. Some have tried to explain this by saying that this was a kid's recreation of a previous animatronic that for some reason disappeared and was replaced by Chica. Though, I mean, if there was a whole other animatronic that was part of the Core 4, don't you think there would be a little more evidence of its existence? Okay, so since Shadow Freddy has some slight hints of purple on him, people started to suspect that maybe the purple guy was stuffed inside him. Now that might seem like a stretch, but if I recall correctly, Afton used Shadow Freddy somehow in the FNAF 3 minigames to lure the animatronics towards their destruction. Am I getting that right? To be honest, I never fully understood that part of the game. And now we have reached our final theory of the day. So with the major success of FNAF came loads of fan creations, most notably of course being the fan songs. And the most popular creator of FNAF fan songs was of course The Living Tombstone, with his FNAF 1 and 2 songs being absolute bops. However, these tunes were so good that some people started to believe that The Living Tombstone was actually working with Scott Cawthon and he was using these songs to secretly reveal the story of what was happening in the games. This led people to theorize that the puppet was Golden Freddy's mom because the FNAF 2 song was about a mother losing her son and, quote, becoming a puppet. I mean, as cool as this would be if Scott did have some secretive master plan with the Living Tombstone, this is probably one of the wackiest and hardest to believe theories of this game. And that's pretty much all I have for today. You know, starting this video, I said that the FNAF 2 theories kinda bored me. And while they definitely were on the same level of wackiness as the FNAF 1 ones, there definitely were still some good ones. Now, I just have to see what kind of theories this game has to offer. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Remember to like it if you liked it, subscribe if you really liked it, and I'll see you next time.